For a look at what's making news in regional Australia, I'm joined by Lucy Knight from Rural Press. Lucy, first of all, this week, pressure on the government to buy Cubbie Station just won't go away. What are the hurdles preventing this from being a quick sale?
I think if it was a simple task of buying Cubbie Station, it would have happened years ago. There are certainly a lot of complications surrounding the licensing of the water at Cubbie Station. While on paper they've got about 70,000 megalitres of water to their name, they've also got close to 500,000 megalitres in what is termed as overland flow, or flood water essentially, which is very unreliable water, but they've certainly got the capacity to store it. That water only comes down the system once every 10 years, Cubbie says. Some experts say it might even be once every 20 or 25 years. So that does put a question mark over whether the water is, or the property is value for money for the taxpayer, and whether it indeed returns the sorts of benefits that the environment really needs and the Murray-Darling Basin is looking for. There's also a question mark over $450 million. It's a lot of money to buy a property of this sort. Sources close to the sale have told me that it is actually worth more in the order of $260 million. So there's going to be some argy-bargy over that, and the government, I think, will be forced to show its cards on where it really sits, so that the marketing of this very high-profile property can go ahead in the usual way.
Also this week, the red meat sector unveiled its new 5-year plan. What does the road ahead look like?
Well, I think animal welfare and the environment are certainly a key priority for the sector. In their report for 2010 to 2015, they really want to communicate to their consumers that the environment is a major part of farming and production for the red meat sector. Internally, they're also looking at their structure and ways of reducing duplication, pooling resources and having a more united front to government. This is a $15 billion sector, and I think the stronger their voice, the more weight they will have when it comes to negotiations both with the government and internationally.
Finally this week, the Federal Councils of the Nationals are meeting in Canberra this weekend. What's making news there?
There's a very broad agenda for the Federal Council of the Nationals, but one of the more interesting items is a proposal to expand the very popular royalties for regions policy that really took off in Western Australia and make that a national program. Now that will be something that will, I'm sure, gain a lot of traction among National Party voters. A lot of regional centres have mining as some of their major economic drivers. However, they may not see the returns in their areas in terms of good hospitals and better roads. So I think that would be a popular policy. How well it's fought out in the policy room, I mean, it's going to be a huge, have a huge impact on a federal coffer. So that would attract a fair bit of debate, I'm sure. There's also a proposal by the New South Wales Nationals for legislation to protect prime agricultural land from mining. Again, another bone of contention between agriculture and mining. I'm not sure whether we'll see support from the Federal Nationals on this. Last year they did a backflip to support legislation that would have banned mining in the Murray-Darling Basin. They actually reversed from their position on that and didn't let that legislation go through, or those amendments go through. So we may not see that kind of support, which could hurt the Nationals in the prime farming areas.
Lucy Knight from Rural Press, thank you for your time.
Thanks very much, Caitlin.